Okay. The story I want to tell about this car and why I don't want to supercharge it or anything other than what it is capable of now. Uh, there's been two of those moments I've had in this car where it was like, okay, the term like snapping it on a corner. Okay, basically going around a corner, the differential's not locked. I get to about where it's gonna be straight, and I just kind of nail the accelerator, and I begin to move forward at a slightly increased rate. And it was straightening out, but right where I was at, there's a strip of metal basically in the road, and when the tires hit that, they spun up, no traction, and they spun up until they hit the concrete 4 inches, down the road, and then I heard literally like the tires lock up, and I fishtailed about, I don't know, about a half a block, maybe a quarter block, and it was a feeling of sheer thank God that I wasn't on the corner. I will never do this again. That's what they mean by snapping it. And I realized it wasn't a true snap. The snap is something else where both the tires lock up, while they're on the corner, and then they go straight and the front wheels go, and at some point it breaks. But what I had was a little different version of what I called the snap, and it was almost, but pretty much the same thing. It went from not being locked up to spinning up really quick, locking up and launching me, and I fishtailed until I could get control of the car, and it was all I could do to keep it going straight. And I went home and I parked. I was there for a while, and then I went back to the spot, and I looked at the tracks where I'd fishtailed, and I didn't fishtail. It actually locked up, and it had gone straight and left like a perfect, set of number 11s on the road. I mean, like, a number 11, literally like two dashes. And I was expecting like the fishtail looking tracks, but apparently the tires were walking and the body was shifting, so it felt like it was fishtailing, but it was literally going straight, laying rubber in an absolute straight line so fast that the car was it was fighting to get in front of itself. And that was terrifying. I wouldn't want to do that again. And that was that's the last time I'd ever push it on a corner. I don't recommend you do that. Anyway, the other time that it's like this. That does that now, and if I had a supercharger, like what it did was all that I could handle at that moment. If it had had any more power, it wouldn't have been manageable in that particular situation. And it was terrifying, like, oh, you need to take off in a car, it's not very fast, and you drive a car, and, you drive cars around, you're like, I want a car that's so fast it's scary, and you don't really, like, know what scary is until it happens, and this car had never launched like that, the way it launched, it was, yeah. I mean, I was doing like 45 out of the corner, and it spun up, and wow. So yeah, I wouldn't want a supercharger or a turbo on this car, because the way it is right now, when you get it to what they call the limits, like one time I was driving. Okay, there's a story about somebody else that did this too, but I don't want to get into that. That's his story. Okay, I was driving the car, right, and I was in a gear, and I had this big shifter. It's like this, and I was kind of being like okay, it was like a closed circuit competition setting where there was two Porsches right in front of me, and they were on the inside lane, and they were slow, bumper to bumper wind drafting, and I was behind them. So I don't remember what gear I was in. I think I was in fourth maybe, and I tried to accelerate or whatever, so I even shifted up. I pulled out from behind him, and I shifted into fifth gear, and I hammered the accelerator pedal, because the damn thing, the track or whatever, was like 4 lanes, and I was like right in the middle of the track, and I started to like pull past him and like next to him, and it was great, but And then I, for some strange reason, decided to shift into 6th gear like it was going to make me faster. And I went for 6th gear, like, with this telephone pole style shifter, rather fast. And, I punched it, during the shift hard. Okay, basically I was hitting 6 as hard as I could out of 5th because these guys were sitting in front of me. And then it could have been anybody, but I just felt like they were doing it on purpose, or their engine, or maybe that was the fastest they could go. I don't know. But I shifted, and instead of hitting 6th gear, I hit 4th, like a real race car driver / downshift. Professionals would normally do, like, don't try this at home type advance. And I don't downshift like I upshift, okay? But when I downshift, like I think I'm upshifting, well, let's just say if you're in 5th gear and you downshift into 4th gear in this car, and, like, I don't know how fast I was going with the RPMs or something, but obviously the motor didn't blow up, so it hit that, like, sweet spot where, it didn't, redline the car, didn't blow up the motor. And basically, I've never in my entire life dreamed that you could accelerate like that. I don't know, maybe what it did, but that is what I perceive to be the limits of this automobile. And, putting a supercharger on it, or basically in any way increasing what it is capable of when you really get down to the I'm going to fucking drive this car like drive it like you stole it, don't, because it will terrify you. I mean, at least this one terrified the shit out of me. I mean, I've never I'm in the seat and I'm planted back after doing that, and I didn't mean to do it, and I know I made a mistake, and I'm like, holy shit, I couldn't talk out of sheer terror. I was so scared I couldn't swear, okay? And yeah, I knew I was going straight, I knew everything was cool, and it wasn't like it was out of control. It wasn't, it was just the sheer slingshot effect of doing that at already what was probably, I wish I had, like, the whole computer, because I don't go to the track with the stuff. I just go to, like, when it's free, or, like, you get invited, or it's cheap, like, show up at the track, is $60 all day your car, and it's, like, cool, There are events even cheaper than that. Anyway, but, the thing is when you finally figure out exactly how much power and where they say never reach the limit to the car. I'm pretty sure that, like, if that's not the limit of this car, that I don't want to hit it. I mean, like, you can take off out of first, loaded motor, try not to spin the tires too much and go and do what you can, but once you get moving and you're accelerating and how hard you are on the motor to do what you're doing, and how you lay into it, and how much free spool it's got onto it before, oh man, it's not something that you can just, it's not something that I'm gonna do. Like, I don't ever want to do that kind of shit again. Like, if that's okay, you ever seen the Rob Dyrdek like Gumball Run, where they're following the Viper and his friends in front of him, and they ran into the Viper, and him and Big are behind them in the big van, Mercedes, I don't know what they were in, but a bigger car, and G-Wagon maybe, I don't know, but, and the Viper guy is, like, going like mad, and the one dude wants to be in the Viper, and they're watching it, and it just snaps and flies apart into pieces. Like, I could understand where if you put a supercharger in it, or turbos, or whatever, and you did what I did, that would probably be the catastrophic effects. But, like, that's kind of the story I want to tell about why I wouldn't soup up this car. But I want to, just to know that it's something that, like, I don't want to do, because I know it is not going to be the right thing for me, trust me.